Welcome back to our channel. My name is Casey, and here I share outfit ideas, styling thoughts, and pieces that have worked for me, especially as someone petite who values comfort, ease, and feeling good in what I wear. But even without AI, shopping for clothes online already asks us to make decisions based on very limited information. We see a few beautiful photos, a size chart, and a short description, then somehow have to decide whether something will fit, feel comfortable, and work with the clothes we already own. And most of us probably know the disappointment of opening a package, trying everything on, and realizing the clothes look completely different from what we imagined. So, today, let's talk about some of the most common mistakes we make when shopping for clothes online and how we can avoid ending up with pieces we rarely wear. Falling for the product photo. The first mistake is buying something mainly because we love how it looks in the product photo. Online stores are designed to make clothes appear as appealing as possible. The garment is photographed under flattering lighting, styled with the right shoes and accessories, and worn by a model who knows exactly how to pose in it. Sometimes, we are not actually falling in love with the clothing itself. We are falling in love with the entire image and the lifestyle it seems to represent. Before buying, try to imagine the item without the model, location, handbag, jewelry, or styling. Would you still like the piece on its own? Can you picture wearing it with at least two or three things you already own? If the answer is no, you may be more attracted to the styling than the actual garment. Ordering your usual size without checking. Another common mistake is assuming we are always the same size. You may be a small in one store and a medium in another. Even within the same brand, your size can change depending on the cut and fabric. This is why the actual measurements are usually more useful than the size written on the label. For petite shoppers, checking length is especially important. A top that looks slightly oversized on the model might become very long on a shorter frame. A midi skirt could reach the ankles, while trousers that fit around the waist may still need several inches removed from the hem. One useful habit is measuring a few clothes you already own and love. When shopping online, compare the item's measurements with those pieces instead of relying only on the brand's size label. Not checking the model's height. Closely connected to measurements is the model's height. A dress, coat, or blazer can look completely different depending on where it falls on the body. A mini dress on a tall model may sit closer to the knee on someone petite. A relaxed blazer might cover most of the hips, and a cropped jacket may not look very cropped at all. This does not mean the item will not work. It simply helps you form a more realistic expectation. Look for both the model's height and the garment length whenever possible. You can then decide whether the extra length suits the look you want, whether you are willing to have it altered, or whether it would be better to look for a petite version. Ignoring the fabric. One of the hardest parts of online shopping is not being able to touch the fabric. A garment may look soft, thick, structured, or expensive in photos, but feel completely different once it arrives. This is why it is worth checking the fabric composition instead of focusing only on how the item looks. The material can give you clues about whether the clothing will stretch, wrinkle easily, trap heat, feel itchy, or lose its shape. This is particularly important if you live somewhere warm and humid. A dress may look light and flowy online, but feel uncomfortable if it is made from a heavy or non breathable material. It also helps to check the care instructions. If something needs hand washing, dry cleaning, or constant ironing, ask whether that matches the amount of maintenance you are realistically willing to do. Skipping reviews and customer photos. Product photos show the best possible version of an item. Customer photos often show the more realistic version. Reviews may reveal whether something runs small, looks different in person, feels thin, or fits awkwardly in certain areas. Customer images can also show the piece on different heights and body shapes without professional lighting or styling. Instead of paying too much attention to one very positive or negative comment, look for repeated observations. If several customers mention that the fabric is sheer, the zipper is difficult, or the sleeves are unusually tight, it is probably worth taking seriously. Reviews from shoppers who mention their height and usual size can be especially helpful, even though their experience will not perfectly predict how the item will fit you. Shopping for an imaginary lifestyle. Sometimes the problem is not the size or quality. The item is simply not suited to our actual lives. We might buy an elegant dress because we imagine wearing it to future events, even though most weekends are spent running errands or going to casual cafes. We may order delicate tops that require careful ironing, even though we naturally reach for comfortable, easy to wash clothes. There is nothing wrong with owning a few special pieces, but when we repeatedly shop for a lifestyle we do not actually live, those clothes often remain unworn. Before buying, ask yourself where you would realistically wear the item. Can you think of a specific place or occasion within the next few months? If you cannot, it may be something you enjoy looking at, more than something you need to own. Letting sales create urgency. Online stores are very good at making us feel that we need to buy something immediately. There are countdown timers, low stock warnings, discount codes, and messages telling us other shoppers are looking at the same item. But a discount does not automatically make something a good purchase. Something you never wear is not a bargain, even if it was heavily reduced. The same applies when we add extra items just to reach the free shipping minimum. We can end up spending much more than the delivery fee would have cost. When possible, leave the item in your cart for a day. Once the excitement has passed, check the measurements, fabric, reviews, return policy, and whether it works with your wardrobe. You may realize that you wanted the deal more than you wanted the clothing, keeping something that is almost right. The final mistake happens after the package arrives. We try something on, immediately notice that it is not quite right, but keep it because returning it feels inconvenient. Perhaps the waist is slightly loose, the neckline sits awkwardly, or the color looks different from the website. We tell ourselves we will style it differently, have it altered later, or eventually find the right shoes. Alterations can be worthwhile for a piece you genuinely love. But if you are already trying hard to convince yourself that something works, returning it may be the better decision. Try the item with clothes and shoes you already own. Sit down, walk around, and look at it from different angles before removing the tags. Online shopping will never be completely predictable. Even after checking every detail, some purchases may still be disappointing. But looking beyond the product photo and paying attention to measurements, fabric, reviews, and our real lifestyle can help us make better choices and reduce the number of clothes that end up unworn. What is the online shopping mistake you make most often? Do you forget to check the measurements, get distracted by sales, or keep things because returning them feels like too much work? Let me know in the comments what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.